Hey viewers, great to see you back for another Twins television episode as we continue our Lambo project. What was initially a finished project has once again become a project.
We have phenomenal news, guys, because we've received 10 gigs of footage from Kronenburg, and we want to go through this footage with you.
And possibly in this episode, we'll also find out what's going on with our engine and where the rattling is coming from. I'm really curious, and yeah, we're just gonna show all the footage, we're gonna discuss it together. And yeah, I hope you all enjoy this episode. We're not familiar with all the terms for how a motorcycle is assembled. We hope to explain it clearly, and I'm looking forward to it. Let's sit behind the computer and we'll just go through all the footage with you. Let's go!
We're comfortably sitting behind the laptop, and yeah, I've secretly already looked at the footage. We also deliberately chose to share the video we received with you just like this. Because if I had made a really beautiful cinematic shot of it, a cinematic video, then maybe you wouldn't really know what actually happened. And now we can kind of explain what we're seeing. Maybe that way you'll get a better idea of what's happening at that moment. Yeah, so it's really funny that Kronenburg is actually hoisting the engines, literally with a hoist. We actually do that with an engine support. A little engine jack, but they really hoist those engines. With a rail and a crane, and you'll see.
Yeah, but you can also just see how they hoist it up. That's just using 2 supports temporarily. We usually lift it properly with 4 supports. While they just do it, just put 2 hooks through it and it's hanging, which is really funny when you see it hanging like that. You see how easy it is to reach the oil filter without the intake.
Without the intake indeed. When the intake is on, guys. Really, to replace that oil filter...
That's going to be a struggle later, because that car will need to be broken in soon, and then you'll just have to replace an oil filter. You know that. You need to change the oil and the oil filter, but getting the oil filter off can be tough. Out from under the intake. And all the vacuum lines that are around it.
Well, here's a little fact, guys. The mechanic you see on screen now is Jan, and Jan has quite a few years.
Yes, he has extensive experience in engines, overhauling and building. He's simply the best person here for the job.
Fix this for us, guys. I'm confident in him. We haven't met yet, but hope to soon. Because you're giving our Lambo a wonderful heart massage right now. So Jan, hopefully you're well rested. Whenever Jan works on his engine...
And I hope he just puts a little sticker on the engine that says, Jan built it.
Seriously, right? Just like with AMG, you see the mechanic who worked on it. Well, guys, that would be awesome. Alright?
We've already seen they've made a nice workspace.
Indeed.
A corner where they keep all the engines. At least our engine are going to refuse. Of course, such an engine comes apart into thousands of pieces, bolts, screws, cylinder heads, all breaking into many parts. So you really need a lot of space for an engine to be able to. I meant to say disassemble, not assemble.
Alright. Guys, we're arriving at the second folder, which is the disassembly of the engine.
Oh, that's what we're going to go through, of course.
Yes, in this episode, we're of course going to see what happens. Well, Jan had a good weekend, I see.
He's well rested. No, you can actually see that he doesn't remove the valve covers.
Yes, because if you don't take off the valve covers, guys, then...
Here comes the valve cover gasket. It costs 400 euros.
400 euros, right?
For one valve cover gasket.
If you buy them new, it's 400, but they're on eBay for 230 euros.
Used each.
So...
He slipped a little. Maybe a bit nervous with the first shots being taken. You never know. We had that at the beginning too, remember? Yeah. But he's really a great guy, that Jan. It's all going to be fine.
I think that's going to work out just fine too. He's doing great.
And I think the camera work is just good too, Yeah, it's just stable. That's really useful.
We really wanted to share it with you. And yeah, then she actually already suggested...
Who is she actually?
Yeah, she's Michelle, the owner's daughter. And she's taking the time for us to do this.
Fantastic, thank you, Michelle. And this way they can also show you as viewers what they do and what kind of craftsmanship they have.
My 230 euro gasket.
Yeah, of course, it's really stuck, right?
We didn't take it off either when we cleaned our valve cover.
My valve cover. Yeah, everything actually looks really good here. Because, there hasn't been a fire in the engine, of course.
Yeah, as you can see, Jan is now working on the timing covers. Basically, the covers of the chain.
He's working on the camshaft chains.
Removing and disassembling them.
The camshaft caps.
We removed these to powder coat them, so now they're matte black. So that's that. That looks super cool, of course. I'm just really curious to see what other footage we're going to see, right?
We're just scrolling and doing our thing for now.
We'll cover this broadly, otherwise the video could take 6 hours. What Jan is taking out here are the earpieces from the Nokas. So those Nokas are adjustable. And now he's taking out the magnets.
Yeah, with BMW it's called Vanos or something, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Or with a Honda, it's called variable valve timing and lift electronic control. I'm not exactly sure if it's all the same system, but Lambo has it too.
Variable valve timing.
He's removing the Sun Ears oil filter and draining the oil now. That's what he's dismantling.
Yeah, he's just going to take the whole engine apart.
Wait until the piston is loose, then remove the crankcase.
I don't think he's going to take off the cylinder heads right now, but the valve stems, man, those really needed replacing back then. You could see that in our footage too. Our piston had a lot of oil on it.
And that can only be because the valve stems are actually broken or worn out.
A lot of oil then leaks down the valve stem onto the piston.
Yes.
Of course, we're only going to go through the interesting footage with you, what we find interesting, and of course what we want to show you. Like this one, for example. This one is actually really impressive.
Yeah, because here is our crankcase seal, which we had to replace.
And we'd like to have it back?
There.
And that looks impressive, doesn't it?
How many chains do we have there already? 1, 2, 3 chains, I think.
1 chain for each side.
1 for each side plus the accessories.
Yes, your power steering pump, air conditioning, and water pump are all driven by the largest chain you saw at the front. There go the pressure washer pulleys. They come off, of course.
Where you drive the engine build.
Another crankcase seal as well.
We haven't replaced that one yet either, so of course we're going to do that now. Otherwise it might start leaking later.
Yeah, and we don't want that to happen, right? We don't want that. We don't want that to happen anymore.
What is that then?
That's the oil pump he's taking off.
Oh yeah.
That'll keep it in place, right?
Rock solid.
The drive shaft.
Look, that Jan is a strong guy. He just does that, no problem. And I'm glad he doesn't do that with the air, Fritz. Like that. Maybe it's not even possible.
Yeah, maybe you're not even supposed to do it on that bolt or something, you know?
Well, here it comes. He just needs to loosen it up.
Yeah, but that's just fine, right?
Yes.
That way those bolts won't...
Get such a hit or something.
Yes.
But of course, those camshafts are just locked in place with a certain pin. And if you keep hammering on them like that all the time...
Those are the camshafts. They're already in there.
That locks the camshafts.
Yes.
Well, you can tell Jan knows
He knows exactly what he's doing.
how things come loose and so on, so it's just not.
This isn't his first day working with tools, you know? Alright.
Maybe he can. You could probably make a quick time lapse of this, right?
Yeah, for some things, I'm definitely going to do that. Because it's interesting, you know, maybe we're only talking for 3 seconds, but the video sometimes actually lasts 3 minutes or so. So yeah, throwing a quick time lapse over that might be useful indeed. It's kind of funny too. What he's doing right now, he's removing all the chain guides now.
Yeah, there are many of them since the chains inside are long.
Yeah, and they really run through the engine like a worm. Look, there's the chain and a guide, and a tensioner. That orange part is the guide, and it's tensioned by oil pressure. And if you have an oil pressure problem, you often also get chain noises.
I'm not sure if that's true for a Lamborghini because it could be that it's a suspension system, right? Because I've seen that sometimes it's also under a certain tension then.
Yeah, you pull out a pin and then it pops out. But there's also an oil supply channel that maintains pressure on it. Because that chain should never come loose, of course. So that spring actually keeps it under tension. But to maintain the maximum pressure on the chain, it's done by oil pressure.
Well, you talk as if you know what it is, huh?
I could almost just join in, you know? But look, actually, we could have done such a rebuild ourselves too.
But it's very exciting. And we have not a lot of tools either, right? This is now a flathead screwdriver that he has in his hands.
Indeed, but there's a lot involved. It's not just a yes.
The calibrated torque wrenches, and those are torque wrenches that just
Cost 3-4 times as much, and just 5 times more expensive than the ones we have in the workshop. Look, here you can see very clearly that camshaft locking pin.
you can see the pin, the rod locking the two camshafts at the front.
Look, here goes the head, guys. Cylinder head number 1.
Look at that. It's handy that the workbench is so close, right? That thing is heavy.
Wow, look how black they are from the soot.
Mega valve cooling, really?
Yeah, but that's expected for a car with 100,000 miles. Okay, well, the saws still look pretty decent.
The nice thing is that they just don't say anything themselves, right? So it's not like they give an opinion about, wow, it might not look bad, but I think that saw looks really bad. I think he used a lot of oil and that's why that saw looks like that. Yeah, you could see that too. There was just a huge amount of oil on the piston, so yeah.
Here's another bolt.
How does he even know what left and right is?
It's on the article number, right?
Ah, okay.
Odd numbers are on the left and even article numbers are on the right, correct? Like with Mercedes, you know which is the clutch. I don't think you can install this incorrectly, right?
Yeah, or it just really doesn't matter at all.
You can install it wrong because the exhaust face is down, but if you mount it on the left, it's reversed and ends up on top.
You are really smart.
I could start with a Kronenburg right now. Look, now the accessory chain is coming off, but why do we call them accessories? Because on these Gallardo engine blocks, this type of block, you have the oil pump, power steering, and the water pump. They're actually all on the left side of the engine. And the air conditioning, they're all powered by the drive shaft, with a chain. In modern cars, a serpentine belt usually handles all these aspects, or sometimes the water pump uses a chain or serpentine belt.
No, exactly.
But sometimes also electrically, with new cars, electrically, and in agriculture, it's all still with...
Mechanically?
Mechanically, with gears and chains transferring it to the side of the engine. And now he's removing the guide there. But we're going pretty fast, right? The engine is almost taken apart. Yeah, I think Jana's already spent 5 hours on this, I think.
Yeah, you can just see the corrosion on it. You can't see anything inside the little engine.
No, not in the engines, but in appearance. Alright, let's continue. What a job, huh?
Yeah, it is one big market.
But I think he just throws everything into one box as well.
Just with the bolts.
Yeah, he also knows exactly where each bolt goes. That's the only way if you take it apart like this. We actually just made a drawing, explained everything, top right bolt, bottom right bolt. And with Jan, it's just, he takes everything apart. Out with it. Probably everything will be replaced with new parts too, because of course it gets registered. So it doesn't matter if it's neat.
It's put away.
So none of it really matters.
I hope they'll put in the new guide from a new type of Volkswagen guides. Those are made of metal, right?
They're made of metal with a plastic edge, and now they're completely made of plastic, which actually
gets fragile over time since it's just plastic.
It just gets hard, then it dries out, and because of the heat, it becomes really brittle, and then it can break.
Which actually means your timing chain is no longer properly tensioned and your engine can completely get messed up.
if your piston and your valves start kissing each other, so to speak.
Yeah, then it's over.
Where were we?
This is a great shot. Show this one to see how much it's decayed.
Maybe it's nice for those guys themselves, right? Look at that rust bucket.
This is what I meant.
Actually, you don't really see any fire damage. It's more that the powder extinguisher.
That caused a lot of corrosion.
That really caused a lot of corrosion. And besides that, that's basically it. You're opening the oil pan now, right? The oil pan, it's the engine's bottom.
And because this is of course an engine that actually doesn't really have an oil pan. Yeah, I saw it's stuck, right? This tool, it makes it difficult. But the oil pan, yeah, is a dry sump system. So in a regular car, your oil is just naturally at the bottom in your oil pan. But because this engine is so big and has to fit in such a small space, they decided to make a dry sump system. This means your oil collects in a reservoir rather than remaining in the oil pan. So, you can use a much shallower oil pan.
And why did they do this on a Lambo? Well, I looked into that. So your car... Look, a Lambo is a sports car that can go really fast. And if your car goes really fast through a corner, there's a chance that the oil pump at the bottom, normally in your oil pan, sometimes can't suck up any oil because all your oil moves to one side.
G-forces or gravity can cause that. It just sloshes.
If your oil sloshes and there's even a 1 second gap without oil being sucked up, your engine can be damaged. And that's why they decided with a Lamborghini and actually with a lot of exotic cars.
With supercars or race cars, they just use a dry sump system like that.
So you actually have constant oil pressure, regardless of whether your car is going through a corner or not. You always have the same oil pressure. Yes, it's variable depending on your revolutions per minute.
But at least you have oil pressure?
You always have oil pressure. It never drops to zero suddenly.
Can you move that video to the folder?
Yeah, you're right. All right.
You can really see Jan struggling with the powder extinguisher at the construction site.
You can already see him struggling a bit.
He's pouring in a liter of solvent, not sure what it is, maybe WD-40.
Or a lubricant. What is he saying?
There, just fiddling with it a bit because, yeah, we had to do that a lot too, right?
But he has no trouble with his eyes or nose.
No, we already cleaned that.
He doesn't use a powder extinguisher on it anymore. Look, now he's gonna tap it in.
We also had to do this so many times with construction jobs.
Yeah, it's wild. I think it's nice, but they've likely shown this once after doing it 100 times. Times he already had to do something.
There's someone else involved who thinks, oh.
We sent the twins to their block.
Look, he's hammering in a larger cap.
This really is the solution.
Are you okay? Nice cough. You should drink more water.
I still have cold coffee, iced coffee.
Guys, I think it's fantastic to be able to share this with you. It looks so cool.
Yeah, this might not be that interesting maybe, but
Soon we'll get to the interesting part, right? When the stool...
He already loosened it. 10 points.
Good job, Jen. Thank you.
I'm curious if he will reuse it.
Of course not. Well, I think he's going to take it off.
It does look pretty battered though.
To be fair,
Let's get the plastic hammer.
well, here he goes, guys.
Look, you can still see that powder extinguisher just jump up, right?
You can see it. There he goes.
Is there only gasket in there, just liquid gasket?
He doesn't even see it.
This is actually a really cool shot. That's the first part that really opens up like that. And you can immediately see that it's just not right.
Yeah, you can imagine how many shots we had. It's an enormous amount. Once again, thank you for that.
This way, we can share as much as possible with you.
Let's see, a shot of the cylinder head. What are they doing here?
The springs are coming out.
What are the valve guides called?
You mean the valve lifter? What's it called?
There sure are a lot of them, huh? I think they're going to clean those things because I see an
ultrasonic basket cleaning thing.
The sleepers, guys, thank you.
They're the sleepers, not the guides, but the sleepers. Look, guys, all those camshafts neatly laid out.
Is the new mechanic working on our engine now? Jan wore a vest, right?
Keep paying attention, guys.
Nice shot. Let's keep it in. It's fun for viewers and for us.
And now, oh yeah?
The footage we're seeing together now, these are just the shots where he's actually disconnecting the connecting rod from the crankshaft, and now the bearings come into view. It's an exciting moment, guys. Are they gonna say anything? Is the crankshaft damaged? Are the bearings damaged?
Did we all make the right diagnosis? Bearings, shells, crankshaft, connecting rod, bearings. Here comes the piston, guys. He's shifting down now.
And the piston is out.
And the piston is out?
He holds it together, of course.
Yeah, they go together so you can't use it elsewhere.
I realize they're broken, which is why they fit together so well. They aren't sawed, just broken.
And then it fits together exactly as it should, which is really true.
I think so. 5 for sure.
No, the 5th is coming out now.
No, there's still one over there.
It's a V10, so 5 on each side. Yes, that's the engine block. Yes, okay, the engine block. Of course, there are 10 of those things in there.
So on this side of the crank,
This one is out.
Wait, he said something. This one is out. This one is broken. We've got it, I think, guys. Look, oh, there's nothing left on it, guys.
There he is.
There he is, guys.
That bearing clip is broken. Look, it's all curled up, but it has to.
New crankshaft?
The new crankshafts need to go in.
So that was our noise, guys.
When I heard the noise, the ticking was definitely from the gearbox, which explains why it was so loud. So I listened with a screwdriver to my ear, to the engine, or around the engine, I should say. And then I clearly heard that the sound actually kind of came from where the gearbox connects to the engine. And you? Yes.
This is then...
This ticking sound, because this is of course the rotating disturbance that can be closest to the gearbox. So this is, let's say then.
It's also the first piston, because you now have two on the crankcase there as well. It's really the first piston, so that really explains it.
It's extremely worn out if you look at it like this.
I also saw a photo for a moment. Look at this, wow. So what you see at the top, that's how it's worn out, and that's how it's actually supposed to be.
What's on the bottom here? Yeah, and so that gray debris, which you can find in the oil, all comes from such a bearing shell.
And the crankcase gets damaged, because when this thing spins along, you have to imagine it like you're just grinding into something with a power tool. That will just create deep grooves and scratches.
Alright guys, we just went over the footage. Huge thanks to Kronenburg, of course, for making this footage for us, and of course, thanks to you all.
This way we can show exactly what's really going on.
We also want to thank Kronenburg, of course, for the steps we've taken, and in the beginning, for actually keeping our engine intact. Because we heard a ticking sound, of course, and after that, they basically just told us what we needed to do, which steps we had to take to make an initial diagnosis. Because yes, like I just said, I thought it might have come from the hydraulic pressure. And of course, then you can kind of keep driving for a while. But because there was actually bearing damage, and we shut off the engine early, and basically didn't drive anymore, we were able to save our engine because of that. And of course, we were also able to save money. Because now the overhaul is just a bit cheaper. Not that the overhaul is cheap now, because it's still an overhaul of 25 to 30,000 euros. So it's just an enormous amount of money. But we just really want to thank Kronenburg for believing in us, and of course we also believe in them. This will work out fine. Jan is a professional, as shown by how he handles things. It'll be just fine. I'm really curious about what kind of footage we'll get in the future, because the engine is going to be completely overhauled. Of course, we'll take you along with us in that process and explain everything as simply as possible in our own plain language as far as we can. Because, yeah, we're not engine builders, but I noticed that you actually know quite a lot about engines.
Yeah, I secretly applied at Kronenburg too.
You got another month? No, not yet. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because the Lambo will be up and running in no time. We're sure it's all going to work out. Be sure to like our channel, and of course check out all of Kronenburg's social media as well. They have much more than just rebuilds. They have their own computer software, their own computer, basically an engine control unit that your car can run on. And they're always customer friendly, they'll always answer your questions, so check them out. And don't forget to give them a like.
And let us know what you thought of this video.
Or if we should do the next videos like this as well. And you'll see us again next week with a new episode. See you then.